Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present you SITEX network. I hope I will manage to keep your attention, even if it's late in the afternoon. So today I will present you the SITEX network. It's a European network of experts on radioactive waste management, involving TSOs, regulators, but also civil society experts. So I'll give you a general overview of the network and also a short overview of the activities of the network and the interaction we have with civil society. So this is the outline of the presentation. First, I will give you the general context of the SITEX initiative. Then I will present you how we have moved from the initial SITEX projects to the SITEX network. Then, as said already, I will give you an overview of the activities we have in the network and the interaction with civil society, and then I will give you some conclusions. So first of all, about the context of the SITEX initiative. In the radioactive waste management community, there are different functions. There is the implementing function, which is responsible for the implementation of radioactive waste management solutions. But there is also the regulatory function, which is responsible for authorizing the operation of the different radioactive waste management facilities. And in close relation with that regulatory function, there is the expertise function. The expertise function is the role to give advices, to inform technically the regulatory function, so that the regulatory function can take technically informed decision. And then we have also identified the society function, which can have interactions with all the three former functions. And SITEX network is mainly focusing on the expertise function, which on the expertise function, but you will see that we have in the network also representatives of the regulatory function and of the society function. Now I will talk a bit more about what is the expertise function, because it's the focus of the network. The key mission of the expertise function is to provide, as I said, the technical and scientific basis for supporting the decision made within the regulatory function. So it's written in the Waste Management Directive that the member state should establish and maintain a competent regulatory authority, and that the regulatory authority is functionally separate from waste management organization. So it's why we think that the independence and the competence of the regulatory function calls for the support of a competent expertise function, which is also independent from the implementing function. The expertise function may conduct several activities. For example, the typical activities are contributing to the establishment of the regulatory requirements, developing guidance for meeting these requirements, evaluating safety cases related to radioactive waste management facilities in support of the authorizations given by the regulatory function, develop and maintain its knowledge and skills. It's a common activity, it's a kind of transversal activity. And in particular for complex issues such as the operational and long-term safety of disposal facilities, the following activities are also essential for performing and overseeing R&D activities, exchanging between expertise function organization on different practices to find a kind of, if necessary and possible, harmonization of those practices, organize and or participate in training activities to transfer knowledge, and interacting with the civil society function. There are sometimes, these activities are essential to build the expertise and also the credibility, for example, vis-à-vis the civil society of the expertise function. There are sometimes some reaction about the fact that the expertise function conducts some R&D, and I think it's important to highlight that in the directive about waste management, it's clearly stated that all parties, so we understand including the expertise function, have to carry out education, training, and R&D activities. And it's also a recommendation of the IAEA in one of the safety guides. So now, so that's a general context, and seeing that context, the expertise function is decided in 2012 to create a new initiative that we call the SITEX initiative, and we have embedded in that initiative some civil society organizations. What does SITEX mean? SITEX means the creation of a sustainable network for independent technical expertise, so expertise function, of radioactive waste management. And what is the overall objective of that initiative? It's to enhance and foster the cooperation at the international level to achieve a high quality expertise function. Also, we also would like to stay independent, and it's important for us, from the waste management organization who have the implementing function. And the aim of SITEX is to support the regulatory function and the society function. In the field of radioactive waste management, we would like to stay in that field, so including disposal, but not only disposal activities. So based on these ideas, we have started the SITEX initiative, and first it was in the form of a European project. It was the first SITEX project under the FP7 program of Euratom program. And it was a kind of preparatory phase for the creation of the network. We have defined the needs and the missions of the expertise function. We have defined the objectives of the future network, and we have defined all the possible activities and interactions that we may have within the network and outside the network. Then, based on the success of that first European project, we have decided to build a second project, SITEX 2, that started in 2015, and it was also funded by the European Commission in the framework of Horizon 2020. And it was that time a kind of test phase of the network that we had designed in order to test the different implementation of the different activities and interactions. And it was also the opportunity to prepare the terms of reference of a future and autonomous network, the SITEX network. And that autonomous network, so which is no more funded by the Commission, we have founded it in 2018, and it's now still ongoing. The network was founded as a French non-profit organization, as I said, in 2018, with 14 founding members from 9 countries. And there are members with an expertise function and members with a civil society function. We also have some regulators inside the network that also have some experts having an expertise function. For example, the Federal Agency for Nuclear Control in Belgium. And we now have 2 additional members that come also outside from Europe, for example, CNSC from Canada. So it's living, and the network is purpose to enhance and foster the cooperation at international level in order to achieve a high quality expertise function, independent from organizations responsible for the implementation of waste management programs, and aiming at supporting the nuclear regulatory authorities as well as the civil society in the field of safety of radioactive waste management. So it's coherence with the initial objectives of the SITEX initiative. And this purpose, this objective of the network is achieved through a close cooperation between all the members of the network. So we have a kind of plurality of actors and view within the network. As I said, nuclear regulatory authorities, TSOs, but also research entity with an expertise function, and civil society organization. And it's really that plurality of factors within the network, which is an added value compared to other existing network, for example, EDSON and so on. So this is just, I won't comment this slide a lot, just to show you how we are organized. We have 3 different colleges within the network: a college for the regulatory function, a college for the expertise function, and 1 college for the civil society function. And all these colleges are autonomous, but they They have representatives into the management board of SITEX, and then we create some activities of the network in which the member of the different colleges collaborate. There are different kinds of activities associated to R&D, but also to training or to safety case review, so SCR, but also pure activities dedicated to civil interaction with civil society. So now I will, those are the four kinds of activities. Now I will give you more example and details about those activities and show you where we have interactions with civil society. For example, about the R&D, SITEX network is responsible for the coordination of the TSO college of the EURAD joint program. And so we perform that coordination. And inside the network, we also have some exchanges about the results of EURAD with all the members of the network, so including the civil society organizations. The network is also a strategic research agenda that we have developed during the European project phase during SITEX 2, and that agenda was one of the building blocks, let's say, of the agenda of EURAD. And so the network is now managing that agenda. And for example, this year, or in January, we have the objective to develop further that agenda to include more social science topics. And it's an activity, a development that is led by the Civil Society College. About the safety case review, we organize different topical days for all the network members. For example, in 2019, we have organized a topical day about governance of radioactive waste management and also the management of uncertainties, which is closely related to the governance aspects. In 2020, we have organized a topical day about the option of deep borehole disposal. And we have presented a literature survey that we have performed within the network about that option of deep borehole disposal. Also an interesting activity, which is quite unique, I think, that we have now just started. It's an activity that we call a safety case review benchmark. For that occasion, we have developed a fictive safety case for a disposal facility. And that fictive safety case was presented to different participants from all the colleges of SITEX, so civil society included. And now these members have the opportunity to make a review of the safety case, to assess the safety. And so the review will be conducted by TSOs, but also by civil society members of the network. And then those review outcomes will be presented, discussed. And the idea, we hope, is really that we can mimic kind of game of review, and that we can learn some important lessons from that exercise about the different review practices of the TSOs, but also about the importance of including the civil society, of engaging the civil society in the review aspects. So it's an ongoing activity. I hope I will be able to give more details about interesting results in the future. About training, we have developed a training module for generalist experts within the network during more particularly during the SITEX 2 project. We have tested that training module in the framework of the SITEX 2 project, and we have given the module once again in 2020 in collaboration with ENSTI, and we had different participants from various kind of actors and as well members from civil society organizations. We received a good feedback from the trainees, and so we are now thinking about organizing new sessions of that training. But due to the COVID situation, we are still thinking about how to do that. Last but not least, the activities dealing purely with the interaction with civil society. During the SITEX projects, we have developed an interesting tool that we name the PEP, which stands for Pathway Evaluation Process. And it's a kind of tool, of game that allow to have structured discussions about possible waste management pathways. And it allows different actors that have various backgrounds and which are sometimes non-experts of about waste management to discuss together openly about the different waste management pathways. And it's very interesting and it works very well. We have used that tool, for example, in France, in the framework of the public debate about radioactive waste management. But we also have used that tools in other frameworks. And so it's really an interesting tool that we would like to use further. So it's in reflection into the network for the coming year. So that's the end of my presentation. Maybe some conclusion. So I can say that the participation of the expertise function in activities such as R&D, training, and exchange on practices contribute to develop and strengthen its expertise and independence. In the context of radioactive waste management, we have founded the SITEX network to coordinate such activities at the international level. And it is the result of an initiative that started in 2012, and that was funded by the Commission. SITEX network allows interactions between civil society organizations and the expertise function, and such interaction were tested in previous projects and really found enriching by the participants. And SITEX network thus involves a plurality of views and actors. And it's really that plurality of views which is seen as an important added value of the network compared to other existing network. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.